Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really profound way of looking at biblical prophecy. It's an idea that connects the veil from the ancient temple, the sky above us, and, well, all of creation into one single powerful concept. Let's get into it. So let's start with this absolutely wild image from the book of Revelation. Just picture it. The sky, something we see as this permanent, untouchable expanse, just vanishes. It gets rolled up like an old piece of paper. This one single dramatic verse is really the central mystery we're going to try and unpack today. Now, to even begin to understand this prophecy, we have to start with a really important symbol from the ancient Jewish temple in Jerusalem, and that is the veil. Now, this was not just any old curtain. We're talking about a massive, super heavy piece of fabric that acted as this physical and, more importantly, spiritual barrier. It separated the holiest place on the entire planet where God's presence was said to dwell from everybody and everything else. Okay, here is where it all starts to click together. The New Testament comes along and gives this physical object a whole new meaning. The book of Hebrews makes this direct one-to-one comparison. The veil, it says, is a symbol for the physical body, the flesh, of Christ. This totally changes how you see the tearing of that veil when he died. It wasn't just a random event. So this brings us right to the main question we're asking in this explainer. We've got two really powerful images, right? The temple veil being torn apart and the heavens being rolled up like a scroll. Could these two things actually be describing the same event, just on a completely different scale? Let's dig a little deeper into those prophecies, the ones that talk about the sky acting like a physical object, kind of like that temple curtain. And what's so incredible is the consistency here. You have the prophet Isaiah, and then hundreds of years later, John writing Revelation, and they both use the exact same metaphor, the heavens being rolled up like a scroll. When you see repetition like that in the Bible, it's usually a pretty big clue you should pay attention. And here's another piece of the puzzle, also from Isaiah. Just listen to the language here. Break the heavens. That's not soft poetic language. That's violent. It's physical. It sounds a whole lot like the tearing of the temple veil, doesn't it? It kind of suggests we should be thinking about this literally. So here's where all these threads come together in this one pretty radical idea. If the Bible straight up says the veil is Christ's body, and multiple prophecies describe the heavens behaving in the exact same way as that veil, being torn, broken, rolled up, then maybe, just maybe, the heavens themselves are a physical manifestation of Christ's body. But the idea doesn't even stop there with the heavens. It gets bigger. It expands to include all of physical creation. And it uses another really powerful metaphor from the Bible, a garment. I mean, look at this passage from Hebrews. It describes both the heavens and the earth as a piece of clothing, something that God wears, that will get old and worn out, and that he will eventually just fold up and change like an old cloak. This takes that rolling up the scroll idea and applies it to, well, everything. And this is really the core metaphor. Think about it this way. Our own physical bodies are sort of like garments for our souls, right? They're the physical thing we inhabit. In the exact same way, the argument here is that the entire physical universe, the sky, the earth, all of it, is the physical garment for the Son of God. Now, to support such a huge idea, we have to look at one of the most detailed and symbolic things in the entire Old Testament, the special clothes worn by the high priest. This verse from the Book of Wisdom just says it plain as day. The high priest's special robes weren't just for show. They were a symbolic map of the cosmos. He was literally wearing a miniature universe. So let's break this down, because the detail here is just incredible. According to scholars, every single part represented a piece of the world. The white linen was the earth. The blue, well, that's the sky and the air. Purple for the sea and scarlet red for fire. The little bells and pomegranates on the hem, that was thunder and lightning. The 12 stones on his chest represented the stars and the zodiac. And the belt that went all the way around him symbolized the ocean, the whole shebang. So you have to ask, why? Why this insane level of detail? Well, the argument is that it's all a reflection of a much greater reality. The high priest wore a little symbolic universe on his body because he was representing Christ, who, in this view, wears the actual universe as his garment. Okay, so that's a massive, cosmic idea. But what does it actually mean for us personally? What are the implications if Jesus is in some way literally present in everything around us? You've probably heard this verse from Acts before, but think about it again in this new context. If all of creation is his physical form, then it becomes literally true that in him we live and move. It's not just a poetic idea anymore. This idea also totally reframes those famous I am statements from Jesus. When he says, I am the bread of life, or I am the light of the world, the argument isn't that he has bread for you or has light for you. It's that he is the very substance of bread. He is the very substance of light and life that sustains us. And this one verse from Colossians might just be the linchpin for this entire way of thinking. It suggests Jesus isn't just a historical person, but the cosmic force, the very fabric that holds all of reality, every atom, together. So what's the ultimate takeaway from all of this? It's that the reason the Bible can say God supplies all our needs is because the very substance of those needs, the air you're breathing right now, the water you drink, the food from the earth, is, in this interpretation, the physical form of Jesus. God's provision becomes his very presence. And so we end with this ancient, timeless, and kind of provocative question from the book of Proverbs. After looking at a vision of creation that is as vast as the universe, but as intimate as a piece of clothing, we're left to just sit and ponder the sheer mystery of the one who set it all in place. It kind of invites you to look at the world around you in a completely new way.